Does Bigfoot really exist? Where's the proof? What do you tell people who don't believe you? Are you a skeptic? Well, maybe history will give us some answers. Stay tuned, maybe I'll change your mind. Hello Bigfoot fans, it's Mojo from WASRT. It's a slow squatching season, so I thought I'd put out a video on Bigfoot and does it really exist and what is the evidence. And what I want to do is I want to go back and look at some history of Bigfoot sightings from a long time ago and how they compare and contrast to what we're seeing today. Because if we're seeing the same thing 100 years ago as we are today, well, maybe that'll convince you that the creature is out there. So what I want to do first is talk about the history of the word or the term Bigfoot. The term Bigfoot wasn't coined until 1958 when a bulldozer operator named Jerry Cruz was operating in the area of Bluff Creek, California, when he discovered these large footprints and reported it to the local paper. Local paper then coined the term Bigfoot. So prior to 1958, when people talked about this creature, they said the gorilla or the wild man or the hairy man because they didn't really have a word for it. So when you go back and look at these old sightings from old newspaper clippings, keep that in mind when they're describing what they see is the most important thing. What did they see compared to what we're seeing and reporting today? So stick with me for a few minutes and we'll have a look at the history of the sightings of this creature. So let's have a look at some old newspaper clippings that talk about what sounds like to me Bigfoot sightings. We'll start with the Adams Sentinel clipping. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, June 2nd, 1851, the wild man of the woods. Down towards the left it says he was of gigantic stature, the body being covered with hair, and the neck with long locks that fairly enveloped his neck and shoulders. The wild man, after looking at them deliberately for a short time, turned and ran away with great speed, leaping from 12 to 14 feet at a time. His footprints measured 13 inches each. Very interesting. The next one I want to show you, 1936. This is in Alabama. They talk about an all-day search for a strange gorilla-like family. Atlanta Constitution, February 4th, 1889. The wild man has again made his appearance. It says, upon arriving at the head of the hollow, just above Miss Oliver's, his attention was attracted by thrilling screams on the side of the high spur that he had just passed along the trail below. He looked in the direction from which the noise came. Then you skip over to the right. Talks about the creature was 7 or 7.5 feet high, hairy as an old bear, and would weigh from his looks about 400 pounds. February 1938, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Reports of a huge hairy beast called the African Eucalyptus, which I can't pronounce, continue to spread terror among residents of this South Carolina town. Here's an old one too. May 10th, 1871. It says, Tennessee has another wild man, much more satisfactory than the last. He is 7 feet high, covered with shaggy hair, very muscular, runs away from men with astonishing swiftness, but approaches unprotected women with wild and horrid screams of delight. Now, this is the Fresno Bee, Fresno, California, during World War II, October 1943. And down towards the bottom it says the creature beat his breast with his long, powerful arms and gave utterance to loud guttural roars that made the hair shiver as well as the spectators. The air shiver as well as spectators. The animal slipped away as one who wished to be undisturbed and wanted no trouble with mankind. After a search, they found a kind of a lair built of logs and slabs and brush, and judged from the bones of the sheep and the other animals that the creature is a carnivorous animal. His track is said to be closely resembling that of a human being. Sounds familiar. And this one is a little bit blurry, September 1938. And it talks of a furry thing resembling an ape. Let's see, subsided today in this Erie County community after a posse of farmers failed to locate the mysterious animal in a 48-hour search. And then over on the right it says, it appeared to be 4 feet tall and resembled an ape. Well, 4 feet's not very tall, but remember, Sasquatches aren't born 7 feet tall out of the womb. Here's one. This one says Wild Man of Ohio, November 25th, 1886. I'll skip down. According to the description, a wild man or some other strange being is at large in Holmes County. The party who reported seeing this strange creature claimed that he or it looked like a man, but actually like a wild beast. Skip over to the second column. And let's see, they're surprised to see what they described as a man entirely nude but covered with what appeared to be matted hair. Let's see, towards the bottom, on approaching the water, he dropped on all fours and plunged in like a dog swimming in a manner similar to a canine. We've all heard the reports of Bigfoot dropping to all fours at times. I think a lot of times that has to do with a younger juvenile Sasquatch, if I'm not mistaken. Here's one from 1909, Chicago Tribune. A naked hairy creature believed to be an escaped gorilla from the Robinson Circus, which showed in Oakland last week and has been seen in Piedmont Hills. Maybe that was a real escaped ape. Guess it's possible. The Tennessee Wild Man, May 5th, 1871. Let's see, on what is called Pinay in McNairy County, a strange and frightful being has been observed for several weeks. He is said to be 7 feet high and possessed of great muscular power. His eyes are unusually large and fiery red. His hair hangs in a tangled and matted mass of jet below the waist, and his beard reaches below his middle. His entire body is covered with hair, and his whole aspect is most frightful. The fiery red eyes is a very common description of a Sasquatch having eye shine. Let's see, second column, a man runs away with astonishing swiftness, or the creature, leaping the tallest fences with ease of a deer, defying alike the pursuit of men and dogs. He has frightened several women by attempting to carry them off, as well as by his horrid aspect, and the whole country around Sobey is in consternation. The citizens are now scouring the woods. Now, I've heard Native American lore of Bigfoot carrying women away, women and children, and this one talks about several women were almost carried away. Okay, this is April 24th, 1889, a trapper's talk. 2 or 3 years ago, the clearings along the Blue Mountains were terrorized by some unknown animal. It was never seen, but its cries were the most frightful that could be imagined. Now, we've all heard about Bigfoot vocalizations being very frightening. So that could very well be a Bigfoot vocalization. It's hard to say. That's it for now, folks. I just wanted to compare and contrast sighting reports from recent sightings all the way back to more than 100 years ago. People are seeing and reporting the same thing. A large, hairy, bipedal, strong creature with speed and agility. It has a foul odor and fiery red eyes. It's all the same thing. So hopefully you liked the video. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button. We need your support, and we'll see you next time.